Welcome to Flying the Metal Flag, and I got to speak to a great person by the name of Andy of Combichrist. And they're going to be touring Australia very soon, this very month of September. They'll be playing Thursday, the 18th of September in Brisbane at the Crowbar, and then the Crowbar again in Sydney on Friday, the 19th of September. And then they're going to head off to Melbourne on Saturday, the 20th of September to play Max Watts. It's going to be a huge show, and I know that they're going to put on an awesome performance. And it was great talking to Andy because we got to talk many things, including one of my favorite things, horror movies. So sit back, relax, strap yourselves in. It was great talking to Andy. He's a great bloke. So, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. This is Andy, one of the greats in our field, on Flying the Metal Flag.
Hey, what's up?
G'day, Andy. How are you?
I am great. How you doing, man?
I'm very well, thank you. First of all, are you feeling a lot better from last week?
Yes, man. Yeah, we went on I got married and then we went to Europe. We played some festivals and then we had our honeymoon and then we came back and 2 days later we were just both so sick, like from traveling. Just people are, so infested with bacteria and viruses. So traveling from one side of the world to the other, and you come back, you're almost guaranteed to be sick. So yeah, we were out of it for a little bit, but I am doing great. So thank you for asking.
Oh, fantastic, mate. Well, welcome to this show. It's called Flying the Metal Flag. I am Craig, of course, and you're very welcome to this show. So, first of all, you're coming back to Australia, mate, with Down and Under again, and it's going to be a
Yeah.
huge show. So, what can we expect this time round?
No less.
No less.
No, it's like I said it's the only thing I can ever promise is Combichrist, because that's what I'm doing, and I've never been the one to not put 100% both of my spirit and my physical performance into a show, and that's all I can promise. We always given everything, and I always will. So that's what I promise.
Oh, fantastic. Because we're all looking forward to you returning to Australia. And I've got to make mention of this latest album, which is fantastic, mate. How did this one come together?
Um, it writes itself, man. It's every album is it's a manifest of the time where I wrote it. So it just kind of writes itself. The only thing I always make sure of is that I don't repeat myself. I try not to repeat myself. So there is if you can go back, and there's very few songs that actually really sound like each other. Period. With production and songwriting or anything, and deliberately so, because I just do not want to repeat myself. Like I'm not having a, if I have an art show, I also paint, and it's the same kind of the idea. Is like you paint a painting, you don't want it to look like every painting is made by the same artist. You want it to be different versions and different aspects of that artist. You want to have different feelings. You don't want every painting to look the same. So it's kind of where I'm at with the music too.
You do that with your videos as well.
Yeah, I feel we do sometimes you do a video because you make a music, it's a music video, or it's a lyric video or whatever. But when I do a proper video, I always try to incorporate like the cinematic part of it. Just like, instead of, to be honest, like nobody wants to see a band play on video. They want to see them live. So I'm trying to make it a little bit interesting. It's like I do make live videos as well, like as a music video, or we're performing or whatever, which is could be cool in itself, I guess. But and we do it, but it's not as interesting as when you do something that it's its own thing. It's a it has its own value in art.
Yeah, because you did one that was very much in the ode of 70s and 80s horror, which I really loved. We did.
I Yeah, it was amazing. I wanted to do a video like that my entire life. So we and we were to the point where we were talking afterwards. It's like we need to make this into a real movie. We need to really do this. But the problem with that's the difference between making a movie and making a music video is that you can do a lot of homage to your favorite stuff. In movies or in music videos, but as soon as you make it into a movie, it looks like you're ripping off other movies, you know. So, but yeah, no, I wanted to make sure I got all the 80s, 70s and 80s. Oh, not necessarily so much as the 70s, but mostly like early 80s stuff in there where, everything from Jason to Chainsaw and all. There was a lot of stuff in there that was it was so much fun. We did it over 3 days. We drove like 3 hours into the woods in Alabama, and we had generators. There was no power out there, so we had generators. All the lighting is old theater lighting from the 70s,
Oh,
and
wow.
we shot everything on film and on old film, so we had no idea what it's going to look like. We were just shooting blind basically for 3 days because we were shooting on all this film, and it would take forever to get material back. So when you see that when it's all fucked up, it's not because we deliberately did that in post. It's literally what it looked like, what we filmed. Everything that you see is really what like how it looked like when we were filming it. So there's no after effects or anything to make it look that way. It was, which was awesome, but it was also really, really scary because we had no idea what it's going to look like until we're done.
Oh, I love it. Are you a big horror fan yourself?
Oh, I'm a huge horror fan. And Australia, I applaud you.
Oh,
They're
yes.
doing. Oh my God! Between Let Me In and um, Bring Her Back, Babadook. I mean, this
Oh, yeah.
movies. It's like they're not. Well, Babadook starts to get a little older now, but I mean, these are all newer horror movies that are just groundbreaking. And yeah,
Oh, yes. And Late Night at the Devil, or with the Devil, have you seen that one?
yes, that was
How
also
good,
amazing.
how good was
Yes,
that one? Yes.
yeah, amazing. Yeah. So no, there's so many amazing. Oh, actually, in general, right now, there's a lot of new horror that is coming out that is good. So Before Dawn, we just watched the other day, as another one that I've seen lately that is has been that's an American horror movie, but it's amazing as well. There's a lot, yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff going on.
But I love European horror, though. Um,
French is
oh,
probably, especially.
French. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. French is probably right there. Like I'm. It's like I used to be a Japanese horror fan. Well, I mean, I
oh,
am
yes.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still am, and it was always been so much ahead of time. But I feel like what Australia and France is doing is like it's kind of similar. It's like a little bit of
Yeah.
the realism in it, and not so much based on the religious aspects of things, and
Yes.
or the standard slasher. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's more realistic level, and it's cinematic. It's so beautiful. I mean,
Oh,
every
yes.
shot, like any random shot of anyone sitting in a car or anything, it's all wall worthy as a piece of art, so that's um that's a huge thing too, and yeah, I think the French are doing it really well.
Oh, yes. 'Cause-
But France also got Gojira, so
oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because for me with horror, it's anything that's real is what's scary to me, not the supernatural. So,
Especially, I mean, it can be somewhat supernatural. It's just, but as long as I actually had this conversation yesterday, I think, and that was religion is probably the most perfect basis of horror, but not if it's put in the perspective of a religious person. It needs to it so and I feel the same way about many other topics, but if you put it in the perspective of the actual idea, then it's different. Or another idea that we could see is like Midsummer, which is put on some weird like mix between old Scandinavian traditions and folklore, and then you just put it into a daily American's life, and it's a horror, you know.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah,
would have made the whole movie in the perspective of the people of that religion or of those traditions, it would have looked very, very different. And I think that's the same thing when it comes to especially like demons and exorcisms and stuff like that. If you make it too too much through the eyes of someone who is religious, it would be more like a scaremongering thing. Stay away from evil. But you need to really write about evil. You need to really write about evil. You can't just write it about. It needs to be brutal. It's horror.
oh, for
you know,
sure. But no,
beautiful and beautiful and beautiful.
but
Yeah.
nothing's as brutal as the human being, though.
That's the thing, and that's where it all comes down to, is that it's this. I think the scariest thing you can do is write about human nature. I mean, let's face it, let's Walking Dead. Nobody cares about the zombies. That's not the scary part. It's survivors. It's
Yeah,
humanity. It's people with no accountability. Humans with no accountability is the scariest thing that exists.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
because everybody. I mean, you can say we're sitting at home in a safe environment, and we can say we. I wouldn't do that, but you don't know that until you're in the situation. And I think every single one of us are capable of doing horrible things, and that's a great horror topic.
So is that part of your inspiration for your music as well, horror?
I, yeah, it is. I mean, but not exclusively. I feel everything around me is. I'm in a kind of like a sponge of everything
Yep.
around me when it comes to art and when it comes to the world in itself, like with the politics, everything that's going on around you. It's like an empath in one way. It's just like this sponge that takes it in, and then the only way for me to get it out is being on stage and creating art and creating music. So it's definitely, and I watch a lot of horror, so it will be automatically that's a big thing of it. But it's also I like also comedy. I like humor, and I like the light-sided things of life, and that's why I never really took myself too serious when it came to Combichrist. It's like you gotta have, even on the most emotional, serious things, you have to have an outlet, and you have to have a little bit of self-irony. Um, if not, it gets just get you know cringy.
Yeah, yeah. What about your influences as an artist yourself? Musician,
Um,
yeah,
like in music,
yeah.
you mean? I mean, I'm influenced by so many things. I mean, like so many, not so many things, and just things, but also artists. I'm a huge David Bowie fan.
Oh, yeah. How
Um,
brilliant was
and
he?
and then every now and then there will be a song that I listen to like a couple of years after I release it, and I go like, "Oh, that's so Bowie." but not in a Bowie way. And I'm the only one who can think like recognize it, because it's a certain thing that I've been inspired by at some point. It's not necessarily even a song. It might be just how he sang that one part in one song, I kind of like, oh, I want to borrow that, and you just do your own thing out of it. So if you play it side by side with somebody else, it was like, I can't hear it, and I was like, no, because it's not a copy, it's inspired by it, and that's a
Yeah,
huge
yeah.
difference. There's a huge difference, and I can sit down and have an idea. It's like, man, I really want to write a song that is like I hear a song that is an old song or something, and I say, do I want to cover it, or do I want to just let me get myself inspired by it? And then you sit down and you start writing something, and it's a different, completely different song. It's a different tempo, different melody, different everything, different lyrics, different. It's not even the same style anymore. And it's if you play it for someone, it's like I was really inspired by this song, and it's like, yeah, but that is green, and you're painting purple, you know. So, but it's inspiration. Inspiration is important, man, because it gives us, I think, not so much a source material, but it gives us the inspiration to do something original and do something new. And that song was the song that inspired you to do it, and that's huge. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, did you know with David Bowie, he actually wrote Frank Sinatra's biggest song, My Way?
Oh, for real? Did not
Yes.
actually not know. As much of a David Bowie fan as I am, I actually did not know that.
Yeah, that's true. And he actually didn't do a version of it himself, which is a shame.
No. Yeah.
Because he did
It's this.
versions of nearly every song that he wrote, except for that one for
Yeah.
some reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. Prince did that a lot too.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He wrote a lot of songs for artists, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it never really. Well, there's some that came out after he died. They found on some local recordings in his studio and stuff of some of the songs, but he never released any of those songs either. It's amazing. And no, David Bowie is a very unique inspiration source for me, because it's like growing up, he never did anything that I was directly into. Like growing up, I was listening to my parents, or not my parent, my mom was always been like listen to country music, which is great. I learned to appreciate it in my later years, really, and that's definitely coming from her. But my dad was a Sabbath fan, or late 60s, early 70s rock metal, and I have uncles that was into speed metal. I have another uncle who was like a Depeche Mode fan, and that whole thing when I grew up. And before the Depeche Mode, even like it's just, and then everybody seemed to have their thing, and I discovered punk. That was the only one in the family who discovered punk rock, and that kind of brought me into hardcore metal, and then it all turned back to to Ministry and Lord because of Jello Biafra from punk, and that kind of brought me into industrial, and then that was already crossing over with metal, and uh, that was kind of my progress in learning and getting to know music. So Ben Bowie, it was one of those artists that was never like, not until the 90s, where he did Outside with Trent Reznor. Um, was he really an industrial artist? He wasn't really the punk, or he wasn't really. He was just kind of anti all of it in one way, because he was just so glamorous, and he was like the glam. He was like, even with outside of his glam rock era, he was very glamorous. It was like it's
Yeah.
always very arty, but that's what appealed to me with him, is that he was a true artist, because I've always been into painting and stuff like this too since I was a kid, and it was kind of like just this original artist who did whatever he wanted to do, and that was the biggest inspiration I took when I started making music. That is the one thing that I contribute to David Bowie, is he never repeated himself either. he always did something unique, and he just kept going and pushing it and pushing it and just doing different stuff. And I think that's definitely um, a lot to do with Bowie, with my music as well.
Yeah. And I think one thing he probably didn't realize either was that he was a great actor as well.
Yes. So they're redoing the Labyrinth. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and it's Eggers is doing it, talking about
Oh,
horror
yes,
movies.
yes.
So that's really exciting. My wife is that's like one of her favorite movies of all time, and she's like, they better not do David Bowie's character. They better do a new story. It's like, if not, I'm gonna hate it. But it's Eggers, so it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Bowie, everything that he did as an actor was brilliant.
Yeah,
I felt, yeah.
but it's kind of one of those things where it just makes sense. He was an actor on stage too. Like nobody truly nobody in the mainstream, like outside of his bubble really knew David Bowie as actual David. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
David Bowie the artist. It's David Bowie the what he created was is what everybody know. I mean, I'm sure that the closest people to him know him as just David, this
yeah,
just a
yeah,
human being like we are. But we are, me included, looking at David Bowie, I'm just like, it's David Bowie. um, yeah, it's like it's a unique thing, and it's like he's always been that character. So when he went into acting in a movie or whatever, that was no different than being on stage because he's already a character. He's already David Bowie. Now he's just playing David Bowie in a different situation. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, fan fantastic, mate. Well, thank you very much for your time. I've always got one last question. It's always, what's the best thing about metal?
The same as the worst thing about this planet, and that's the people. I, and I would say it's the same answer. Yeah, the best thing about metal is the people, man. I always loved to go to metal festivals. I always loved being around or playing metal festivals. I just it's like metal people are just it's just different, and it's like it's the toughest people in the world, but with the softest hearts and the most nerdy and down to earth people you could meet. And you gotta love that. My dad once is is a more conservative businessman, and growing up, and he said once, "I'd rather meet 10 of you than one person in a suit in the back alley."
Beautiful. Well, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time. Combichrist will be playing Down and Under again. You'll be playing my capital city, Melbourne, on the 20th of September. We're looking forward to it. We wish you the best with that and the latest album. And congratulations on your wedding, of course.
Thank you, and
No
we'll
worries.
see you in Australia. I'm
No
looking
worries.
forward to it.
Thank you very much
All right.
for your time, Andy.
Take it
Thanks,
easy,
mate.
man.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this interview here on Flying the Metal Flag. I really hope you enjoyed it, and so does Ben. So we would greatly appreciate it if you click the like button, or even better, subscribe to this channel, because there's so many interviews that are coming soon. So please stick around for them and even more, and even the ones that are here already. So please take care and keep it excessive, but most of all, let your metal flag fly high.